You know, like if you wonder where somebody's going to sleep for the night, you know, find a place that's secluded where you're not going to be messed with, or where you can get a good night's rest. If the elevator don't work, you could lift it up to the second floor and sleep in there. Another spot would be over there, like there behind that building. Places like this, you put something down in there. There was a blanket in there at one time.
In between your food and your sleep, or everything else that you got going on, you got transportation that you might do without.
What's a good pair of shoes cost? Like 60 to 70 bucks, maybe 120. So you average that out on a month, how many pair are you going to need? You're going to need 2 pair per year. And then you got all these other characters, you know, social-wise, that you got to deal with. You still got to deal with people, you know, dependency somewhat, you know. And sometimes it's not pretty.
The lifestyle has a lot to do with hope. I compared, you know, when you see somebody homeless, without, you know, dirty, you know, grubby or whatever, looking for a place to stay, looking for a meal, not having a job, you know what I'm saying, to something that could be decent enough to where you wouldn't kind of like blend in with other people, but decent enough to where, hey, you had your faculties within your mind. You had somewhat of something that made some kind of sense. Within the brackets of not having enough, there wasn't any sense there. You know, so you could easily see how people end up the way that they do, you know, and they stay within that mode of living.
You do your best to keep as clean as you can. And the flesh, you know, it has to be cleaned up every day. It's kind of like the balance, having the balanced nutrition. Even if you're not doing anything, you still have to have a bath, because you can be kind of sour, be kind of off, you know, and you got everything else going on and you haven't even taken care of yourself. Then when stuff is messed up, you wonder what the heck went wrong, and it was just from lack of care. When I was in inner city Dallas, they had this van like that they had sandwiches on, and they would pull up in the center of the city and they would feed the homeless. That was one of the best deals that probably would work out. Other than that, the person is left to where they've got to go from one spot to another. And before you know it, that's like within a 2 to 8 mile radius per day. If you don't have transportation, it's a big problem. The universal language is just plain common courtesy. You know, please, thank you, hi, how are you? And that's real hard to have when your life is down and under. The more you know about yourself, the better off you are, because other people can prey on that. If they don't happen to be where you're at a certain time or moment, you can clash, or you can get along.
Just imagine this. Today, you feed me. Tomorrow, you hate me. It's not how all people behave, you know what I mean? But it's hard to establish some type of rapport. And you never know if you're going to see the person again in your life. It's just like in and out. It's like today, I know you. Hi, how you doing? You like starting a relationship or something like that? Tomorrow, I don't even know you. I applied for the job. I walked in and I had my street clothes on. I didn't get nothing. The next day I show up and I'm cleaned up, dressed to the nine, you know, look good and everything like that. And it's like, oh, here's Mr. Such and Such, walk right in. And I believe in giving an impression, but I also have a belief that you'll find somebody right on the street that their knowledge far exceeds what you got. What kind of experience do they have? They have real life experience. Can you tell me that? No, you got to go get it through a book. If a man walks up and he says, hey, I can do your job better, and I bet you wouldn't believe that. Can he? Maybe he can.
We figure, like, how could you get stuck on the streets for 10 or 15 years? There's people that have probably been stuck on the streets like that and just made it a lifestyle, made it a way of living. But it's lesser than what I'm showing you right now, you know.